Hello, everyone. Richard Phillips back at you with another cube draft. I thought that I would just sneak another one of these in here. I've drafted the cube 3 times before. I did the one that I took the video of previously, drafted another similar deck that was not very good, and then drafted Storm, which I 3-0'd with. So this is attempt number 4 at the cube, looking to get trophy number 2. We have a couple of very interesting picks here. We have Time Twister, which is excellent in Storm, or Big Mana. We have Mind Twist, which is a very, very powerful card in a control deck, or even a mid-range deck. And we have a couple of Mana Rocks, which are also pretty good. There's a few build-around me cards, like Gaia's Cradle is amazing, but requires some build-around. Monastery Swiftspear is great if you're trying to force mono red. I think here we're just going to take the Mind Twist. I think it's a little bit more powerful than Time Twister in this cube specifically, although Time Twister is specifically a lot better if we're looking to go for a combo deck. All right, pack 2. Oh, wow, they still haven't fixed the art on some of these. It's very strange. All right, nothing super exciting in this pack. Generally, I'm always under the impression that if you can find an Emrakul, you're supposed to take the Emrakul because there's so many powerful things you can do with Emrakul. Once you get it, you can either cheat it into play, you can try to instant speed reanimate it. There's nothing else in this pack that's particularly powerful. I guess we could go with either a fetch land, impulse, force spike, or path, or kind of some of the other cards I'd be thinking of here. Bolt's very useful at a lot of different things. But I think we'll just take the Emrakul here. Not really sure what we're doing with this, but it's a good place to start. All right. Well, now we're picking up some Storm cards here. If we want to pivot towards Storm, we kind of have to choose now. We have Bargain and High Tide. I like High Tide a lot more than Bargain in the Storm deck. Alternatively, we have Thoughtseize, which is just a great card against almost every deck, except for maybe Mono Red, but even there, it's still pretty good. Mystical Tutor would let us find Show and Tell if we could get Show and Tell, but that's reliant entirely on finding the card Show and Tell. And there's a lot of other Tutor effects in the cube, but not as many Thoughtseize effects, so I guess we'll take Thoughtseize here. Okay, and of course we pick up Show and Tell. So we're definitely a Show and Tell Emrakul deck. Now I really wish we had that Mystical Tutor. Maybe it'll wheel. There's a possibility it'll wheel, but I think we're definitely going to be on the Show and Tell plan. Would also like to maybe pick up Inky on the wheel. All right, any of these cards strike our fancy. We can pick up some removal with like Murderous Cut, Dismember. We could also pick up a Treasure Cruise. We don't really need ramp if we're going for a Show and Tell deck. Like, that's not really what, like, the alternate ability to, like, casting the Emrakul is so far off. And none of these cards are particularly good ramp, like Elves or Awakening Zone. It's probably between Treasure Cruise and Murderous Cut, maybe. Possibly Dismember. I think we'll just take the Treasure Cruise. This gives us the longer ability to build more specific decks. All right, we'll take the Vamp here. Vamp's actually really good with Show and Tell, and we need those kind of effects if we're going to be all in on, like, because we have a 2-piece combo here. This lets us search for either of them. So we'll definitely just take the Vamp here. Pack Rat's interesting. It's a good alternate way to win the game if the opponent has some sort of way to beat the Show and Tell that we think. So I think we could definitely take Pack Rat. We'd also take Shriekmaw here. I do like Shriekmaw a lot. Not necessarily in this cube, but I do like the card Shriekmaw. Augur would let us search for Show and Tell, Vamp, Thoughtseize, Treasure Cruise, Mind Twist. It's actually a lot of these cards. Yeah, maybe this is an Augur deck. I love putting the top 3 cards in my library on the bottom of it, but yeah. All right, so Compulsive Research is really bad with Emrakul, or sorry, Dark Confidence is really bad with Emrakul, so I think we'll take Compulsive Research. Assuming that we just weren't playing like Treasure Cruise Emrakul and Show and Tell, we were just doing like this like low to the ground blue-black control. I think Dark Confident would be great, but Compulsive Research is exactly what this deck wants. All right, well, Botanical Sanctum's really bad fixing and doesn't even fix our colors. Sylvan Library is probably closer to being a playable card in our deck. We could also pick Balance as a sweeper because we're not going to be playing to the board until we play the Emrakul. Maybe. I think it's between Library and Balance. I think we'll take Library, but we might not play it. So now we have a question of whether or not we want to take another fatty or we want to take a force spike here. I don't know if there's a good answer to it. Massacre Worm's really good against some strategies and really bad against a lot of others. And Force Spike's pretty good against all strategies. Maybe we just take the Force Spike. Here, I mean, I don't see us playing any of these cards. I guess we'll take Bargain. Bargain's probably the closest to playable. Same kind of deal here. I guess theoretically we could be a Mentor deck if we splash white. We could win alternately with Mentor. Faith's Fetters is also pretty good removal. I don't know. None of those cards really were very good. I could definitely see us playing Deed, though. If we're going to splash green, Deed is actually very good. Wear Terror, Disenchant. I guess Disenchant's easier to cast than Wear Terror with our colors. All right, so I'm not loving where we are after pack 1, but we definitely have the Show and Tell Emrakul is very powerful. Just looking to pick up some enablers here for that, as well as more disruption and other ways to win, possibly. All right, so currently we don't have any fixing, and Flooded Strand goes a long way to helping us with that. We can even start picking up, like, Brainstorms if we get enough fetches. We could also pick up Animate Dead. We could be a blue-black Reanimator deck with the Show and Tell option, too, which honestly doesn't sound awful either. I think it's between Animate Dead and Flooded Strand. We didn't pick up any cards to animate yet. Like Sundering Titan would be pretty good. Huh. I don't know. This is a tough one, I think, guys. I think we'll take the Animate Dead here and hope to pick up some other cards that are going to let us, do this. All right. Well, we have... Wow, there's a lot of cards here that don't... All right, so Grave Titan is great because it's kind of right on that borderline where it's a good show and tell target. It's also castable. Tezzeret's not really where we want to be. Teferi's interesting, but I just don't think that's exactly where we want to be. I don't believe we're a Signet deck. That's not really what we're trying to do here. We're pretty low to the ground in terms of our actual spells, other than Mind Twist. And like hard casting something like an Emrakul is not really what we want to do. I think we might just pick up it's between that and Preordain, I guess, are the two that I'm looking at. Preordain or Grave Titan. We already have a lot of early interaction. I think Grave Titan is just very important for us because it's, like I said, right on that borderline of being castable, but also a really good target for show and tell. Not like the best, but it's like fine. There's a lot of decks that just can't beat it. All right, here I think we have a Iona and we have a Strip Mine. If we can somehow pick up like an Entomb, then the Iona plan is really, really strong against a lot of decks. But we're a little low on reanimation as well as ways to discard it. We also just take Shelldock Isle and try to like hard cast an Emrakul. I think I like that. There's just so much upside to it in this deck. Looter Ill Core is great if we're going for a looting, like the looting effect to discard something out of our hand and then animate it is very strong, especially if we're not going all in. And this deck is definitely not going all in on the reanimate. It also lets us dig for the show and tell combo, so I think I'm a big fan of that. All right, well, we have Gristlebrand in this pack, and I think we just have to take it. That's one of the best show and tell targets. It's also one of the best reanimate targets. Brainstorm is good if you have enough fetches in the deck, and I don't think this deck does. So I'm pretty sure it's an easy Gristlebrand there. Ooh, okay, here's interesting. So we have Yogg-Will that we could try to build like a storm deck that's trying to reanimate Gristlebrand as part of the storm and then go off from there. Same with Dark Petition, that's the same idea. Mox Diamond let us get ahead on mana a little bit, but we're not like a great Mox Diamond deck. Batterskull is just a solid like thing that we could play. I don't know if there's a right answer to all of it. Like, none of these cards are particularly more powerful, I think, than any of the others. We don't have any good fixing yet, so Mox Diamond might be good for that. Yeah, maybe I'm leaning towards that just because of the fixing. Makeshift Mannequin is a reanimator card, and it can actually reanimate Emrakul. So maybe because of its usability to do both of those things, I want to play it. It's definitely one of the more expensive ones, but because it's instant speed, if we loot the Emrakul, we can Makeshift Mannequin it, or if we pick up something else that can do it. I mean, I guess it's better than probably like Hangerback Walker. I don't think this is like a Hangerback Walker deck specifically. So I guess we'll take it. All right, there's the Entomb. That's perfect. Entomb's good. Lion's Eye Diamond's actually pretty good with a reanimator strategy because you can like use it. You can just basically discard all your hand. It's not like amazing. It's much better in Storm, but if you have 4 mana, yeah, I guess even then it's not great. You would need to like do something like cast a wheel or something like that and use Lion's Eye Diamond. All right, we'll definitely pick up the Flooded Strand now. I think it's better than Ravenous Chupacabra. We currently don't have any fixing, and this would let us pick up a dual land. Also fuels Treasure Cruise and helps with some other stuff. I think it's better than Chupacabra. Progenitus is not a great reanimate target because it shuffles back in, so I'm not going to take Progenitus just because of the ability to do that. I think Go for the Throat's probably fine. It's not a great removal spell, but if we get low on playables, we could definitely play it. We got the Iona. Perfect. We'll take the Iona. Great. Ultimate Price is the same kind of deal. It's not a great reanimator. Or it's not a great removal spell, but we play it if we need to. Inquisition's very good with this deck. We can strip a counter spell out of our opponent's hand. All right, so we need a couple more ways to get things in the graveyard, as well as a couple more ways to reanimate things. I do like the direction that this deck is going. Ooh, Dark Petition's not the worst. We could definitely play it. You could Dark Petition for Animate Dead or something like that, and then just, use it, assuming we have 2 instants in the graveyard, which we probably should. All right, so there's Reanimate, which is very good. I think just the ability to have Entomb Reanimate, so you like turn 1. You can even do turn 1, Entomb, Mox Diamond, discard a land, reanimate it right off the bat. That's really strong. There's nothing else in this pack that's particularly good. Worm Coil actually is really good, but I think Reanimate is a little bit more important to our deck than that. We could take Probe here. I do like Probe a lot. We could take Ancient Tomb here. We're not really a great Ancient Tomb deck. We have so many 1-black cards. Yeah, I think I kind of like Probe here over Ancient Tomb. It's just not a great Ancient Tomb deck. Like what we already have, we have 1, 2, 3. We have all these. Look at all these, and then all these 1 mana. So I guess it would let us play like a turn 2 Show and Tell, but we already have Mox Diamond for that. Compulsive Research. Yeah, I think I just like taking Probe here. All right, this is interesting. Thirst for Knowledge is actually a really good way of discarding things. Baleful Strix is just a really strong card. Living Death is like a weird reanimator thing. Each player exiles all creatures from their graveyard. So we would have to get rid of our card somehow else and then cast Living Death to bring them back. Which, I mean, I think that's kind of strong. I don't think it's super strong. It's really expensive mana-wise. Even playing something like a Grave Titan on turn 5 and killing your opponent's stuff isn't necessarily going to win you the game. I think the Baleful Strix is definitely like the safe pick here. It's the one that cycles through the deck, keeps us alive. Thirst for Knowledge is also really good, though. But we don't really have any artifacts, so it's basically always going to be discarding 2. So I think we'll just take the Strix for now and hope we pick up some other stuff. All right, Corpse Dance is good. It gives the card haste, though, but it is an instant, so we can use it to Emrakul our opponent, and we can also buy it back. I think it's a fair bit better than Hymn to Turok in our deck, because we already have the Mind Twist. Um, yeah, I'm just worried about getting cards in our graveyard still. Yeah, I guess we'll take it. And there's Necromancy, which is similar to the others, where it's a good way to get cards back. We just don't have good ways to get cards in the graveyard in the first place. We have like three. We have Entomb, Looter, Ilkor, which isn't great, and Compulsive Research, which also isn't great. We're not a Mind's Desire deck. Could be a Daze deck. But I don't know if, Daze is anything. All right. So you can play this as an instant, but then you sack it at the next end. It doesn't give it haste. So maybe this is just a Daze over it, because we already have enough Reanimator cards. We don't have enough cards to protect ourselves from trying to find like the show and tell type stuff. All right, we got Gush here, Spell Pierce. The Breeding Pool's a way to get black or way to get green mana off of the Flooded Strand. I think at this point we're too far into the cube to get a blue-black land. I think I guess there's one more pack that we haven't seen cards out of. I think this is pretty easy Spell Snare here. Not a huge fan of Damnation in a deck where we're trying to play out big creatures. Huh. All right, well, of course, here is the Brain Freeze, which would have let us go for the bad Storm deck. Can we still go for the bad Storm deck? So we 3 mana, Corpse Dance. Yeah, but we don't have any way to go off from there. We never saw any rituals or anything like that. Trinket Mage could get us the Mox Diamond, which isn't great. Bazaar of Baghdad's actually a really good way of discarding things. It's so bad if that's not our plan, because it doesn't even tap for mana, but I think we should probably play it. We have 3 cards that we want to get in the graveyard, right? We have 1, 2, 3. We have 4-ish cards that we can get into the graveyard. All right, Imperial Seal's great. For what we're trying to do, it'll hopefully set up a lot of the stuff that we're trying to do here. Palancron, Noxious Gearhulk. Just battlefield, destroy another creature, gain life equal to its toughness. That's probably not the worst, right? It's probably better than Duplicant. It basically does the same thing as Duplicant. All right, Ancient Tomb. I don't know if we're an Ancient Tomb deck. I guess we could take it and play it. Una's Prowler is actually a good discard outlet, so it's definitely between Ancient Tomb and Una's Prowler. I think we're low enough on discard effects where we're actually taking the Prowler here. We have a bunch of ways to search for things. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we could play Control Magic. I mean, Control Magic is a good card. This is definitely a Delver deck. It's just we could enable Delver, I guess is what I'm saying. But I don't know if we have enough things going on to. Yeah, we'll play it in the sideboard. Oh, and Him Wield. We'll definitely take him. And Necromancy Wield. All right, so the Reanimator strategy is definitely open. Necropotence. Wow. All right. Well, we have a few cuts that we have to make here, but I think overall I'm pretty happy with the deck that was more or less handed to us. It wasn't like we did anything really to pick this up. We just happened to. We were pretty disciplined not taking Reanimate cards, and ended up in a weird show and tell Reanimate deck. It almost looks like a legacy deck in terms of how many very powerful 1-mana spells we have. All right, so we have 35 cards right now, 4 of which are lands, and we'll count the Mox Diamond as a land, so we'll just move these over for now. We have 30 cards, and we need to probably cut, I would say, 5. I think we can go really low on lands with this deck because we're not really trying to do all that much. The first card, unfortunately, that I think we have to kind of cut is Mind Twist. We could definitely bring it in if our opponent is playing some sort of like control deck or something like that, but I don't believe that we are trying to mind twist an opponent with this deck. It's very much like a turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 type deck with how many of these tutors we have. We have 2 tutors, one's instant, one's sorcery speed to set up our show and tell and our Emrakul show and tell, which I'm very excited about. Some other cards that we could cut would be some removal spells game 1. I'm not a big fan of Go for the Throat or Ultimate Price game 1. We could definitely bring it in if our opponent has hate cards or something like that, but not a huge fan of it there. I like having the Daze because the Daze would let us protect our combo, which is really cool. All right, Corpse Dance is probably the worst of all of our effects. It's either that or Necromancy. I do like Makeshift Mannequin because it keeps it around. And Makeshift Mannequin actually works really well with Emrakul because this says that, you know, if it's targeted with something, spell or ability, sacrifice it, but Emrakul already has protection from colored spells. So your opponent can't even really, like, do anything about it, which is really cool. There's a chance that we don't really want the Inquisition main. This is really hard, guys. Yeah, I kind of like the Inquisition, though. I think this is either a 14 or 15 land deck. It's probably 15 because Bazaar of Baghdad's not really a land. So it's probably 14 land or 15 land deck, which means we have to cut 2 more spells. So maybe we're going to cut the Necromancy because it doesn't work well with Emrakul. Like, we can bring it into Emrakul for a turn, but that's all it does. Do that and cut 1 more card, cut... Yeah, maybe just cut the Inquisition game 1. I don't know. I mean, let me know what you guys think in the comments, guys. I'm not sure if that's the lands we want to cut. We really don't want to go more than like 3 lands in this deck. So we'll add... we don't want a Plains. We need blue mana, and we also need black mana. We need double black. We don't really need double blue. But so this lets us search blue, so we have 5... 6 blue sources, 6 black sources. Not sure if we can actually play Rashad Port in this deck. I like Rashad Port in a deck, so once we put a fatty into play, then during the next turn we can tap down our opponent. But I think our mana is so intensive that we actually just need to play those and cut the Rashad Port. That's only 14 lands still. Oh, 14 lands plus the Mox Diamond. That's what I was counting Mox Diamond as a land. There's a chance that we should actually have 15 lands plus the Mox Diamond. Not sure, but it's definitely a low land count deck. I'm very excited about this. I hope it goes well. We'll save this, and I guess we'll play. We can always board into another land on the play and keep the land out on the draw. Kind of like that. All right, everyone, welcome to round number 1. This is I would say definitely a fine hand. This isn't a super fast combo-y hand, but we have certainly ways to go from here. We have multiple pieces of disruption. We have ways to find more things. Okay, our opponent starts with a Preordain, which we're fine with. The fact that they're just going turn 1 with a Preordain leads me to believe that they're probably Storm. They're trying to set something up that is, what do you call it? Like linear. I guess we'll start off with Probe so we can figure out what we need to counter out of our opponent's hand. Yeah, it's definitely Storm. All right, so they got Mind Twist, Dark Ritual. So next turn they're probably just going to play... What do? They put 1 card on bottom, 1 card on top, and drew it. So they don't know what their next card is. Their Pentad Prism isn't doing much. Their Mind's Desire, Mind Twist, Dark Ritual. Okay. It's good to know. All right, we drew a Makeshift Mannequin, so we now have a way to get back a card. And now that Magic Online is a little fixed, they actually can save your opponent's hand, which is cool. I think I like just playing this Flooded Strand here and passing. I'm not going to play the Mox Diamond because, yeah, you know what? I don't know. Maybe we should just play the Mox Diamond. Yeah, let's just cast the Mox Diamond. We'll get rid of the swamp. It's just basically the same as playing another land there. And we'll pass the turn. I want to hold up a Spell Pierce in case the opponent draws black mana here. I don't want to get Mind Twisted. Okay, our opponent probes us. That's definitely the card they drew for the turn. If we Spell Pierce this, then that means that they're not going to get to draw another card for the turn, and they won't know exactly what we're doing. They won't be able to play around Daze. So I kind of like just casting the Spell Pierce here. This way we still know their hand. We know that they don't have black mana. Pentad Prism for 1 color. Yeah, that's fine. All right, we're not going to crack the Flooded Strand yet because we'd like to draw a land. All right, we do not. We will go ahead and play our Augur of Bolas. Like to pick up a Thoughtseize here. Oh, there's an Entomb. All right. Yeah, I guess we'll pick up the Entomb. That's fine. All right, so we do fortunately have a Daze here. Our opponent can go Ritual, Tutor, Mind Twist for 4 or something like that, which is probably what I would do if I was the opponent. Okay, so there's the Ritual. That's fine. Yep. They drew a land for the turn. So they've used the Ritual now. Oh, they're just going with a big Mind Twist? Okay, so we'll definitely return this. We'll Daze that. That's why I wanted to counter the opponent's Git Probe, because Daze gets a lot worse. If our opponent only floated 1 mana there and was going to cast Mystical Tutor later, that sequence would have worked out a lot worse for us. All right, we drew a Looter Ill Core, which is actually almost perfect here. We'll play that. And attack our opponent. So we know the 2 cards our opponent has, Mystical Tutor and Mind Desire. I'm kind of surprised our opponent didn't Mystical Tutor during their upkeep. All right, sweet. We drew a land, so that means that we can reanimate next turn, I guess. Play this island out. We'll attack our opponent. We'd love to use the ability here. All right, and we can discard a card. We'll discard this Grave Titan, and then next turn we can Entomb for Emrakul, and then Corpse Dance it, and then attack our opponent and just win the game. Okay, so there's our opponent Mystical Tutoring. We'll see what they're Mystical Tutor for. Tinker. Interesting. All right. It's a good one. So our opponent probably has a Blightsteel Colossus or something, but fortunately we're going to get to Entomb for Emrakul. Oh, this might be Jar. They might be too... Oh, okay, Inkwell Leviathan. That's fine. All right, so we will Entomb. Pop this out real big. We'll get Emrakul. We'll respond to the Emrakul trigger. Perfect. And that's the game. All right, so against Storm, do we have any good sideboard cards we want here against Storm? Well, we definitely want Mind Twist. That's almost perfect in the matchup. Grave Titan's significantly worse than a lot of these other threats. Grave Titan's good against fair decks. There's a chance that even putting it into play isn't all that powerful. We probably don't want Baleful Strix. That's like literally the definition of a fair Magic card. It's one of my favorites, but it's definitely a fair Magic card. We want that Inquisition in the deck. Do I see anything else? No, I think that's probably fine. Like Una's Prowler's not great, but it's an enabler for our deck. It's almost exactly what we want to be doing. I didn't see any creatures from our opponent. Yeah, let's just submit like that. I realized as soon as I clicked submit that was a 41 card special. I think we're fine. We don't want to draw the Emrakul anyway, so maybe this is a 41 card deck. No, it's definitely just a mistake by me. All right, this hand's perfect. We got Inquisition into him. That'll buy us like infinite time. We don't have to combo super fast if we have this much disruption. All right, so we'll go ahead and Inquisition our opponent. All right, Bargain and High Tide. Will and High Tide are our two. Well, our opponent's definitely not going to be able to combo next turn, so I guess we'll just take Yawgmoth's Will. I don't know. Neither of those cards was particularly interesting or good. Opponent's still quite a ways off of comboing. We don't even have to him our opponent next turn. And I don't think we will. I kind of want them to draw more cards before we him them. Okay, we did know about Polluted Delta, and we did know about Island. All right, I think we'll pay mana to probe our opponent. See what else they drew. They drew High Tide Gitaxian Probe. So they have 3 cards that matter currently. I guess we'll just play the Shelldock Isle here and him them next turn. I would love to put the Iona under the Shelldock Isle. All right, so we know. Okay, so we know our opponent has Get Probe plus these cards. I accidentally clicked off of Get Probe. All right, so they play the Urborg. We know they still have Get Probe. I definitely am going to him them here. And we got High Tide and Palancron. Perfect. All right. So that's our opponent. Our opponent's mana generation is kind of offline now. We can actually reanimate a Palancron if we wanted to. Because we're not doing anything currently, it's not probably like the worst to do it. Opponent has 29 cards in the library. We have 28, which is a lot. So we're not really close to the Shelldock Isle here. Mind Twist for 3. Sure. All right, they took the Days and 2 islands, which isn't great for us, but we know that their hand is Swamp plus 1 unknown. All right, so there's the Mind Twist for us. So we'll probably Mind Twist our opponent next turn. We're just going to go ahead and get the Palancron here. Just put a clock on the table. I guess we'll untap this Swamp. Sure. Okay. Now we have a very fast clock on the table. It is a 5-turn clock. Sure, Thirst for Knowledge, we're definitely going to Mind Twist our opponent here. They'll probably discard the Swamp as one of the cards. Okay, so they discarded a swamp and an island. Ooh, search for Escanta. Wow. All right, that's a good one. All right, I think we're just going to go ahead and Mind Twist our opponent here. I don't really want to wait because hopefully next turn we're going to get to use this. Probably should have played around Daze there. All right, opponent got rid of Factor Fiction and Grim Monolith, which are good cards for us to have gotten rid of. Let's hope our opponent draws some cards here. Sure, they mill a Badlands. That's fine. All right, so now our opponent has 20 cards in their library because of the... Yeah, 20 cards in the library because they activated this as Kanta. So we're going to get to play our Iona here. And I think we'll just go ahead and do it now. I'm not sure if I want to name blue or black here. We know that they have Will in the graveyard, so that means that they can't cast it again. I think we probably just want to name blue here, because that's the way that they would remove it, and I don't think they're going to be able to just combo us off on black cards. I have a feeling they have like something like a Echoing Truth or something like that to remove things. I doubt they're playing just like straight up black removal other than Dismember, which we saw. And it's really hard for them to combo off just casting black spell. Okay, perfect. And then we just win the match. Great. So you saw the importance there of disrupting our opponent with Mind Twist, Thoughtseize, Hymn to Turok, and then just putting, an anemic clock on the battlefield. And then finally, turn 8, casting a 9-mana spell, which isn't super, powerful in and of itself. But against Storm, just that bit of disruption plus a small clock was able to get there. All right, guys, welcome to round number 2. This hand has the mythical turn 1 Gristlebrand hand, so I don't think we mulligan a turn 1 Gristlebrand hand. Let's see what our opponent does. Okay, they have a fast aggressive deck, it looks like. Okay, that's it, nothing. All right, perfect. There's a show and tell. So we can actually, assuming everything goes right, go turn 1 Gristlebrand, turn 2 show and tell Emrakul, which is nuts. All right, we'll cast the Mox Diamond. Get rid of this island. Play a Bazaar. Discard Gristlebrand. Island. Grave Titan. Reanimate Gristlebrand. Sweet. And there's no real reason to draw cards here yet, especially if our opponent's on a burn deck or an aggressive deck. I don't want to just, lose the game suddenly because our opponent goes end of turn Bolt into Fire Blast. Okay, our opponent's got a Goblin Guide, which is fine. We can beat a Goblin Guide. Because we have the show and tell hand here, I think I'm definitely just going to go ahead and block it. I'd like to gain my life here. Oh, our opponent has a Dismember. Wow. Okay. Cool. It's good for our opponent. Nice. I didn't want to draw 7 either because of the other stuff we have in our hand here. We could have, definitely done it, but I think the Show and Tell Emrakul plan is probably going to be good enough. The Dismember is pretty good though, so we would have gone down to 7 if we would have drawn 7. I think I was fine with that though. All right, we'll get in at our opponent here. Possibly trade this Baleful Strix for something else. No, we'll just discard that. Oh, okay. Our opponent taps us down. So it's a good thing we didn't draw 7 then. Wow. Could have gone very bad for us. So we're going down to 8. If our opponent has 8 points of burn, we're in a lot of trouble. If they don't, we're good. Maybe we just shouldn't have blocked there with the Gristlebrand. It was definitely a bait, but I thought I would have been okay, just gaining the 7 life. I thought they were going to, like, double bolt it. I wasn't playing around exactly to Dismember. But, yeah. Okay, cool. So our opponent just concedes. They can't deal us enough damage. They're going to lose all their permanents. Good. All right, so maybe I played that a little bit loose, but we got there, which is all that really matters. All right, so we're going to bring in Ultimate Price and go for the Throat. Those seem great. Same with Inquisition. Honestly, we just want to cut down our curve a little bit. Some cards that we probably don't really want. Like Treasure Cruise is really slow. Dark Petition is really slow. Una's Prowler actually is like a really solid blocker in this matchup, which is kind of funny. Like 3 power and flying is like a real thing. I'm hoping we're not on like the Looter Ill Core plan. That's just like not where we want to be, I don't think, in this matchup. It's just so slow. It's good in medium long game like that, but I think just trying to get the Entomb for Gristlebrand is where we want to be in the matchup. All right, what does this hand do? This hand just plays very defensively, so I guess I like that. We can Imperial Seal for something. All right, Figure of Destiny. We'll be able to block that with a Baleful Strix, which is good. Do we just like turn 1 Shelldock Isle, or do we like turn 1 Imperial Seal looking for to like Entomb Emrakul, or no, sorry, to Imperial Seal for Entomb, and then like turn 4 Entomb Emrakul Corpse Dance it? I don't know. But then we're going to have to deal with this ugly tapped land later. I guess we're just going to play the Shelldock Isle here. None of these cards are any good. I guess we'll take the Ultimate Price. That's really not where we want to be, though. I think this game we're going to take it a little bit on the slower side. I don't want to probe our opponent here. I'd like to play it on a turn where we have an extra blue mana. Ideally, I think. Ooh, Grim Lavamancer. Okay. All right, there's an Iona, so we would like to somehow discard that to either hand size or through a discard effect. All right, there's the Entomb. So next turn we can Entomb for Gristlebrand, and then we can Corpse Dance the Gristlebrand to gain 7 life, which is probably pretty good. Our opponent wastes 3 mana on that, which we're happy with. We're going down to 15 here. Next turn, we can play Augur of Bolas plus Gitaxian Probe. There's an Una's Prowler. That's actually pretty good as a discard effect. I think we want to just start with the Augur of Bolas. It actually blocks really well on this board. Which of these cards do we want? Makeshift Mannequin. Makeshift Mannequin is actually really bad in the Grim Lavamancer. We already have a Vampiric Tutor effect, though, so I guess we'll take the Makeshift Mannequin. Play this and probe our opponent paying blue. All right, they have a Terminate, Liliana, which they're never going to cast, and Goblin Dark Walls, which are also not really going to cast. All right, so they don't really have a very good hand, honestly. All right, there's a Compulsive Research, which is very good at discarding our Iona. So we can Iona... and then Makeshift Mannequin. It's still really bad in the face of the Grim Lavamancer, but... All right, what do they need to do here? Pay 3, and it becomes a 4/4. Yeah, I guess we'll just do this to save some life. That's fine. Save ourselves 4 life. Sure. Our opponent drew another land for the turn, so they're 1 off of the Goblin Dark Dwellers, which is a little scary. I think here we'll go for the Compulsive Research. Compulsive Research or Una's Prowler. I don't know. I think we'll do Compulsive Research. All right, and we'll discard 2 cards, discarding Emeria, or Iona, sorry, and do we want Seal? We have like so many things to do now. Seal, so Corpse Dance. So we can, next turn, we can do the Entomb Emrakul plan currently. So I guess we don't need, we can just discard those 2. Play this. So next turn, if we don't die, we can get the Emrakul in play. We also have Daze backup, which is nice. Jackal Pup. That's fine. All right, so our opponent will go down to 1 card or 1 permanent, which is fine. And then we can reanimate that afterwards. Okay, cool. So we'll go for the Entomb here. We'll Entomb for Emrakul. And then with that trigger on the stack, we will Corpse Dance the Emrakul. And then we'll shuffle in our graveyard. All right, so we still have to beat a 4/4 on board, which is a little hard. There's a chance that we should have reanimated something else, but yeah, I don't know. All right, so our opponent goes to 5 here, and then we can actually just play the Una's Prowler and try to just beat our opponent that way. I don't know. We know our opponent has Terminate, Lily, Goblin Dark Dwellers in hand. We just have to beat this 4/4, which the Una's Prowler plus the Makeshift Mannequin will give us a lot of time to do. Okay, cool. Go for the Throat's great, too. So we'll go ahead and play a Una's Prowler. And then we'll just go for the Throat this now. And now our opponent will have to discard cards to not die to the Una's Prowler. We can also reanimate our opponent's Jackal Pup if we wanted to bring down the beats. We are at 6, though, so we do have to keep that in mind. All right, there's a Swamp. So we'll go ahead and attack our opponent here. We'll see maybe our opponent will discard the Goblin Dark Dwellers, and then we can reanimate that. No. Okay, so our opponent just does that. We're going to reanimate our opponent's Jackal Pup for the win here. Okay. There we go. So we have Jackal Pup now. Opponent has Badlands, so now they have Terminate up, but we have Spell Pierce and Daze. Oh, Abbot of Carol Keep. Wow. All right, so we will Force Spike that. And that should be the game. Yep. All right, so we're on to match number 3, 2-0 with our super cool Reanimator deck. All right, guys, welcome to round number 3. We're going for the 3-0. Oh, boy. What does this hand do? So we got to think about it for a second. All right, so turn 1, we can Imperial Seal. The Bazaar isn't like a Bazaar hand. We need like a Reanimate or something like that to make it a Bazaar hand. So we can Imperial Seal. We have Corpse Dance. So we can Imperial Seal for no. Like I think it's a keep, but I just don't think we're doing anything with it yet. We could like Imperial Seal for Baleful Strix. That's not great. We like Emrakul in our hand is always just very awkward. We don't have a good way to get rid of it. We could Una's Prowler. Imperial Seal for Una's Prowler. Is that really what we're doing with this hand? Sure. I guess we're doing that. We're going to Imperial Seal for Una's Prowler. I'm just going to look at the deck and see if there's anything better we can do with it, but I think this is an Imperial Seal for Una's Prowler. We could do it for Show and Tell, actually. Seems a lot more safe, doesn't it? So maybe we should have done that turn 2 then. So Una's Prowler has the higher upside, but Show and Tell is probably just the right play. And we're just going to play another black land. We don't want to get our blue land strip mined because we don't have another one. Ooh, that's gross. This would have thrown us off either way, I believe, though, but that's okay. If our opponent takes the Show and Tell here, then we can do the Emrakul Corpse Dance thing, which is kind of cool, eventually with the Bazaar. I think the opponent should probably take the Emrakul, considering we have multiple different ways to interact otherwise. No, what? So, okay, so they must have a way to beat the Emrakul here. They probably have like a way to get a creature. Huh. So does that mean we're supposed to go for it? I mean, I think we're going to lose if we don't go for it. So, I mean, we'll go for it, and we'll see what our opponent has, and they might just beat us with it, but that's okay. All right, they're convinced they can beat an Emrakul. They got a Jit. I mean, this hand wasn't doing anything else, so I think we just had to go for it. They might have, yeah, Council's Judgment. Okay, so that's a good one. So maybe we should have, well, we didn't even have a land to wait one more turn. All right, there's Reanimate. That doesn't do anything. So I guess we're Bazaarring and hoping to hit something here. Discard 3. 1, 2, 3. And I guess we just have to continuously do that until we hit something. I mean, the Jete is very bad in this matchup in general. Sure. Okay. Now, our opponent doesn't even want to go in on the Jete. So what do they have in hand then? All right, so there's Probe. So we'll take a look at what they've got going. We can actually pay blue. Unexpectedly absent. Relic Warder Armageddon. Okay. And now we get punished for the blue there. Yeah, I think we just have to hope our opponent doesn't go for the get in here and just, continuously do that until we find Iona or something. It basically has to be Iona. And maybe we were a little too aggressive with that. We probably shouldn't have kept the opening hand. Like, I was looking at it and I was like, this isn't really a bizarre hand. So maybe we screwed that one up, but for opponent get-ins, I think we'll just concede. There's no way that we can reanimate anything on that. Okay, so they're not doing that. They're just keeping up the unexpectedly absent. So we still have outs. It's to draw Iona in our top 4 cards. Or top 3 cards, rather. And none of them are that. So we'll hit for... I think we're probably dead. We're not going to get another turn here. Yeah, we'll just concede. All right, against blue or against black-white, what do we want? Yeah, I think maybe we just played that one a little bit poorly. We probably want to go for the Throat and the Ultimate Price if they have cards that are disrupting what we're trying to do. Probably a little bit less interested in cards like Spell Pierce even. Because they're playing to the board so much. Maybe cut that. The Grave Titan is going to be great in this matchup. That's probably like what we want. We also want to have the ability to just hard cast it. So maybe we want more like Thought Seize effects and less of the like card disadvantage cards. Like we'll cut the Imperial Seal. It's the worst of all our loot effects. And maybe even the Dark Petition. Something like that. We're just going to go for like a very fair, value-driven thing. We're bringing in a couple removal spells and some hand disruption. And, yeah, this hand's very good. We get to, for what we're trying to do here, we get to turn 2, Baleful Strix our opponent, which will buy us a lot of time. We've got the Daze. Let's take that Grave Titan. So we got to survive until the mid to late game, and then we can just play a Grave Titan. All right, good. Our opponent didn't have a Mother of Ruins or something like that. Mother of Runes. All right, there's an Emrakul. We can go ahead and play out our Baleful Strix here. Punished. Okay, I was thinking that we should play out the Mox Diamond, but we didn't. Although I'm fairly certain that our opponent mana tithing a Baleful Strix is fine for us. Yeah, sure. Wasn't playing around Mana Tithe, but I don't think that our opponent Mana Tithing specifically that card is what we were worried about. We don't have anything else going on there. All right. That we will definitely play. We'll discard the island here. And then we'll him our opponent. Getting rid of 2 lands, which isn't great. I'm playing the land there so we can actually just cast the days. Sure, opponent's got a Dark Confidant. Oh, Compulsive Research is a good draw. It's a reason why we should have held the land in hand. We would love to discard a land here. I think we want to discard the Bazaar, maybe. Now, I guess the Bazaar lets us get to Grave Titan faster, so we'll discard the island, and then we'll Thoughtseize our opponent. Don't want to get hit with a 4-mana play that we can't beat here. Ooh, both of them are pretty good. Well, I guess they're definitely going to be able to cast Lodestone Golem and not necessarily able to cast Brimaz, but we can daze the Golem and not the Brimaz, so I guess we'll take the Brimaz. The Brimaz is potentially more damage. All right, Gideon, that's good. That's something they can't cast. Mesmeric Fiend. We're supposed to daze that? Probably not. All right, so we know that they have Lodestone Golem and Gideon in their hand. All right, there's a 4 spike. So if we play out the Bazaar, we can go down to 22 cards. So we can definitely get the Grave Titan on the battlefield next turn. Opponent drews a Stoneforge Mystic, which is not good for us. They know we still have 4 spike. So we can aggressively use this Bazaar to get below 20 cards. All right, that's something we will definitely 4 spike. Thought they knew about the 4 spike. I was pretty sure they did. All right, so we'll take this damage, and then we'll Bazaar. Just discard both of them. Oh, there's a Reanimate. Okay. What can we reanimate? We can reanimate our opponent's Brimaz as blockers, and then we can get out our own. Yeah, I like that. All right, so we're going to reanimate our opponent's Brimaz. So there's Brimaz. Then we'll Bazaar, discard the 2 of them. And then during our opponent's turn, we will get the... Ooh, Fiend Hunter. That's so gross. Let's hope our opponent just main phases the Fiend Hunter to kill the Brimaz. Perfect. Okay. So this is almost perfect. So that goes away. Then our opponent will attack, and then we're going to blow him out. Perfect. All right, then we get to block everything. Block here, block here, block here. We get back Daze and Emrakul. Perfect. There's an ultimate price, so we get back our Brimaz also. Oh, he gets back. Guess I should have read the cards. I didn't know how Fiend Hunter worked, but okay. Probably should have just let that go then. Ooh, Banishing Light. That's a good one. Sure. Wow. All right. Definitely should have read my cards. I think our opponent needs something else. I'm pretty sure that the way that Brimaz works is that it's blocking the same creature. You don't get like an extra one that you get to block. So if we attack with all these, I think he's just dead. should have ordered them the other way. We're just full of punts over here, but we were able to win the game regardless. All right, so it was definitely... First, I just, like, instinctively was like, oh, we'll kill the thing and get our thing back. But I forgot that the thing we had was our opponent's thing, so it's definitely a loose play. But we're able to get there, and we're moving to the last game, which is exciting. I guess our opponent did have enough things where I probably want the Spell Pierce. Tomb, Inquisition, I like all these things. Animate Dead, like that. Which is Prowler. I wonder if Prowler is probably one of our weaker cards. Maybe it's Looter Ilcore. Yeah, I don't think I like Looter Ilcore with the kind of stuff that our opponent was doing there. All right, so we can turn 1, Vamp for, at the end turn, Vamp for Reanimate, then Bazaar of Baghdad, discard the Grave Titan, get back the Grave Titan. So I think we keep this. All right, Kytheon. That's not as scary as something else. Oh, we can even get back the Gristlebrand. That's great. All right. Ooh. Does that change what we want to do at all? Wow, that's a really good draw from our opponent. Might. Huh. So we're going to be at least a turn slower than we thought. I think we still go for the Reanimate, but... So the next turn we'll play the Bazaar. But we're not going to do anything with it yet because we want to draw lands, I guess. We don't want to show our opponent what's going to happen the turn after. All right, so we're going down to 14 here. So we need to draw a land in the top 3 cards. Well, that's not good. All right, discard 3 cards. Gristlebrand, Grave Titan, Spell Pierce, probably. All right, there's another land, so I guess we're going to go ahead and reanimate the Grave Titan. The Grave Titan's a lot safer than the Gristlebrand. So yeah, I guess we'll do it. There's Mana Tithe. Okay. So now we need to hit land, Animate Dead in our top 3 with the Bazaar. Knight of the White Orchid. Okay. So our opponent gets a land, which is good for them. All right, we'll draw with the Bazaar here. Inquisition's not something we're interested in. Neither is Show and Tell. So we'll get rid of Show and Tell. Thoughtseize Force Spike, I guess. All right, there's a Flooded Strand, so that is a land. But we're still not able to Corpse Dance here. So I think we're just going to Bazaar again. I think it's a Treasure Cruise. That's pretty good. All right, so we'll get rid of Mox Diamond and Inquisition and So this would get us back Grave Titan currently. So probably in daze then, because we're not going to be able to daze through this Thalia anyway. So we'll go again and get a blue. We're going to be going down to 1 here. All right, and there's the animate dead. Okay, so we have a tentative plan to maybe win the game. So we're going to go down to 1 here. See what our down to 1. That's what I thought. Okay, then the Kytheon turns around, and the opponent will be able to untap something and give it indestructible. Okay, and then our opponent plays a Brimaz, which I think makes it really hard for us to win here. We can reanimate the Gristlebrand, which will gain us 6 life. So, and then we'll take 4 or 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I don't think this does it. We can Bazaar to just make sure. So we can Corpse Dance to get the Grave Titan, which will put up 4 blockers. But then even that means that the Brimaz will still get through for 1. Maybe our opponent doesn't know how that works. So we're going to discard. Oh, we can play the. No, it costs 3. I was going to say we can play the Augur of Bolas and the Animate Dead. So 1, 2, 3. Play the Shelldock Isle. Get the Go for the Throat. And then Animate Dead the. I guess we'll Animate Dead the Grave Titan. That's fine. And unfortunately, we lose. Yep. All right, well, you see the power of the Reanimator strategy there. I think I made a couple of misplays game 1. Probably shouldn't have just gone for it, but we weren't going to win that game anyway. And then game 3, we had a really fast one that was disrupted a lot by Athalia. And I think we drew relatively poorly that game, but that's all right. I thought this was a really fun draft, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know if you'd like to see more of these, and I'll catch you guys next time.